Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking out time to join us today. On behalf of Accops, I am Mayank Bhatia, Channel Account Manager for North and East. Would like to welcome you all for the webinar today. The topic is Unlocking Secure Digital Workspaces for Government and PSU. Today, we know that security is not only about protecting systems, it's about protecting the sovereignty. We are living in the world where risks are not limited to physical conflicts, but extend deeply into cyber warfare, digital dependencies, and unseen vulnerabilities. This makes extremely important for us to rethink how we secure, control, and be self-reliant on the digital workspaces truly. To take this deeper, today we have Vijender Yadav, co-founder, CEO, and CTO of Accops. Thank you so much, Vijender, for giving us time, and over to you.
Thank you, team, and very good afternoon to everyone. Thanks, Mayank, for setting up the agenda and rightly said about that. Gone are the days when we can say that customers can deploy, perimeter security or some security tools and they are safe enough. Right now, the question is all about, who is actually securing us, right? Just the security is not enough, but uh, which cloud, what solution, the origin of the solution, they also matter a lot because um, every country is now facing, a sort of like a decentralization of, the global economy as well as the dependency on each other, right? Everybody is looking at Atmanirbharta, and this is very evident from what is happening today across the globe. We already are aware of multiple wars that are being fought at this time. And in those difficult times, it is important that which country can defend themselves using their internal tools and using their own internal supply chains and not depend upon any foreign entity. We know the hidden threats, now more, rather than what it was evident, few years back when nobody was really thinking that, okay, who controls the supply chain, right? It's very evident now there are, limited countries which controls the global supply chain. And, countries are waking up to that fact and everybody is now trying to bring a sovereign solution, right? Um, with that, I wanted to highlight some of the events that have happened right within India itself, where if you look at today, most of the security solutions are foreign controlled, right? Whether it is firewall, SSC solutions, antivirus, EDR solutions, and more security solutions have gone to cloud as well, and that means these solutions are delivered as SaaS offerings. Now, most of these vendors are also belonging to fewer countries, right? Majorly US, and US has certain laws which gives the immense amount of power to the US government to direct these vendors to provide whatever audit logs US government asks them, whatever data these vendors have about their customers and their users, even though the data centers are hosted outside the US territory. The US laws compels these vendors that if US government asks, they have to provide all of that data. On top of that, all of us would have heard about the example with what happened with Naira Energy, where their email access was cut off based on the instruction from the US government to Microsoft, right? So if a Microsoft vendor, like vendor of that size, can be directed by the US government, imagine the smaller vendors, that what kind of control a foreign government can have on the customers who are based in India and completely ignorant of the fact that the security system that is in place is actually is just a one kind of email away from US government, to be completely shut down, right? On top of that, the vendors who are running from these SaaS planes, and especially foreign-owned vendors, um, gives very limited access to audit their systems as well. right? And that means if any kind of issue happens, the government can't really force them that they have to provide all internal details, whether it is any kind of breach or what data was accessed from these vendors network by other governments as well. So there are, and of course, these vendors are compelled by the laws of their origin countries, right? So it's not that they are doing by their choice, but they are compelled by their own local laws as well, right? So with that, we wanted to highlight that there is a stronger need. In fact, it has never been that strong, but now need to have Indian OEMs to provide more and more security solutions so that we can help Indian government, PSUs, and critical infrastructure organizations to secure themselves and implement a sovereign security stack rather than relying on the foreign vendors. Right? So I'll give a quick intro about Accops, and we'll talk about the various solutions that we offer, in that space. And I'll, because we have only 45 minutes, I've got almost like 45 slides, so I'll quickly run through so that we will have time for Q&A as well. At Accops, we are based in Pune, established in 2012. So this is our 14th year running now. We are based in Dubai as well. So we do a lot of business in Middle East and Japan, right? India, of course, is our home country, so our biggest market is here. We're also now part of Reliance Group. We are their subsidiary, and that means we will continue to always focus on India as a major market for us. Uh, and we are featured in Gartner, quadrants, serving today 900 plus enterprise organizations. We are today 350 plus, team size as well. So I would say we are a growing startup, right? The startup chaos is reducing. We are becoming more structured organization, which I think is good for our partners and customers, because now they can rely on Accops that we are a stable organization. We are backing of the largest company of India, and that means we are not going anywhere. It's a platform to continue to build more solutions, right? And you will see that, okay, the number of products that we have today and the roadmap that we have for Accops, that will just help government and PSUs and critical infra organizations to be able to rely on Accops. So what we do as part of the solution is, when we started the company, our goal was to build a complete holistic stack for people to work from home, right? Or when people are mobile, right? Of course, with COVID, with the hybrid culture taking off, our solutions have expanded, and now we talk about building solutions so that people can work from anywhere, right? So whether it is office, branch office, home, cafe, Bali, wherever they are, and no single technology is enough, right? So we always need multiple technologies because there are different users. They need a different kind of security. Applications demand different kind of security, and with every security stack that is deployed, there is a cost associated to it, right? So that means we need to make sure that there are different kind of technologies available uh, to ensure that business can justify their investment into that security stack, right? So we've got a comprehensive stack there. We start with the ZTNA gateway, which gives access to private applications. And then we got a comprehensive IEM MFA SSO solution. We got a VDI stack to virtualize the applications. We have our own endpoint devices, plus we support third-party endpoint devices. And we got a full endpoint management solution as well, which includes an operating system, a UEM solution, and a few more solutions I'll talk about it, right? But if you want to kind of remember that, okay, what exactly we do these key things, right? And we do it very well compared to most of the MNCs as well, right? So first is secure private access. That means we are a solution that can deliver access to any application that is deployed within customer infra. So whether web, client server, TCP, UDP, VoIP application, any kind of application which is behind the corporate firewall, we can deliver secure access to them. Today, we have gone to the level of providing quantum safe encryption for the data in the transit, and we provide a lot of on-demand DLP features as part of the overall solution. So this secure private access solution itself is quite compelling against the other VPNs or other private access solutions that are there in the market. We also integrate with third-party IEM solutions, whether it is Entra ID, whether it is Okta, One Login, Cisco Duo. But to deliver more value to our customers, we started developing our own IAM solution. So today we have our own user directory. We can do identity federation with SAML, OpenID Connect. We have a comprehensive passwordless solution now, and we have got a comprehensive bio solution as well, which includes facial authentication. Right? So our IAM solution works with our own product, but we can also integrate very well with third-party application. And then VDI, Virtual Desktop and Apps, is a space where we are the only company from India which is providing VDI solutions. In India today, I can very well say that we are the leading provider. Today, the competitive landscape has changed a bit. So Citrix, Omnisa, they have, I mean, Citrix have definitely left the market. Omnisa is now trying to reestablish themselves. But then Microsoft, has become, kind of a significant player in the media space. But if you look at it, we are the only Indian solution in that space. And globally, if you look at it, even in the APAC region, we are the leading, provider of the media solution beyond Microsoft, Citrix, and Omnisa. We are recognized by DACI. We were, declared Security Product Company of the Year in 2024, awarded by NASCOM as well. Gartner rated us very highly in the DAS quadrant. This was the first time we got featured in the Magic Quadrant and rated very highly, for the solution that we have. In terms of the customer base in government, we have wide variety of the customers, right, from NIC to Indian Army to Indian Air Force, DRDO Labs, Bell, NTPC, right? So various state governments as well, right? So we've got comprehensive setups. I will talk about few case studies. Other than government, in private sector as well, we've got presence in every industry. Of course, BFSI is number one, but then manufacturing, pharma, bit of healthcare, we got presence there. These are some of our large deployments, and I want to highlight this slide because so that you know that we as an Indian solution provider, normally, I mean, any Indian OEM is tagged with, oh, the solution is not good, it may not be stable. Of course, the company may not be stable at all. So 14th year running, if you see the largest of the deployments, right? So Reliance itself, before they became our parent organization, they replaced Citrix for 1 lakh users, with our solution. NIC, since COVID days, 5 lakh users accessing 600 plus applications. Axis Bank, 90,000 users on our biometric IAM solution. There, of course, VDA and ZKNA is also deployed there. Flipkart runs their big billion days, complete their call center, warehouses across India, their dark stores, they all run on our platform. TCS also replaced Citrix based setup for 6 lakh of their global workforce, with our solution. LIC, 1 lakh users on our MDM solution, and Nuclear Power Corporation on our secure browser solution, right? So you will see that our solutions have gone into largest of the organizations in India. So our solution is stable, feature rich. We beat our competition hands down, and we are a stable organization, right? So there is no, I mean, there's no reason that okay, why definitely Indian critical infra and government and PSU customers should not choose us, right, for their needs. Talking about our solution, so High Secure is our private access solution, right? Today, of course, more and more customers are looking at SSEs, right, which is Secure Service Edge, which is all about internet security plus private access, right? So we don't do internet security yet, but we are working on it. That's on our roadmap. But in private access, we are, I would say, best, and better than any other competitive solution, where it's a zero trust based access gateway solution, can be deployed in the customer environment wherever it is, can be offered as a cloud service as well, today, and includes device posture, endpoint compliance, clientless, client-based. But the key thing that I think the differentiator that we have is we provide on-demand DLP functionalities, which no other provider provides, in a more comprehensive way than us, right? Which means that you bring a BYOD device to us, and we will ensure that user can't copy any data on these machines from, your business application. Right? Now, the same solution I spoke about, that it can be delivered as a SaaS service as well. That means we will host the control plane and the customer can create an outbound tunnel from their data center, and we can provide ZTNA as a service, also. So both the models are available. This ZTNA service is not yet multi-tenant. That means it's not self-onboarding enabled. So we deploy a dedicated setup for each customer right now. But in our near future roadmap, we are coming up with a multi-tenant SaaS service as well. Right? Now, in terms of key features, right? So we are first of all 100% on-premise. That means any critical infra, government, defense customer can be assured that we are not taking any data out of it, not even the telemetry data, right? Everything remains within their data center, which is critical for these organizations, right? It has complete contextual access, so device posture, time, location, GPS location, all those things are built in. We provide maximum compatibility to protocol, right? And if you guys have experienced, the other competitive solutions, SSC solutions, they have had limitations with supporting VoIP traffic, UDP traffic. There are complexities around it, and I don't blame them. That's a evolving technology, right? But we have been there in the market for 14 years plus, so we have maximum compatibility with applications. And now we can support the reverse connect, right, from data center outbound connection as well, which is, I think that, which is the only benefit that any other competitive solution have had on us. But that is also now available. And the other, features are pretty standard. But this slide I would want to focus on that, when it comes to, again, an Indian OEM, the customers look at us with doubt that how secure our solution is. Of course, even after serving 900 plus organizations, which have, the largest of the banks of India, so SDFC, Axis Bank, Canara Bank, all of those customers, they regularly test our solution. We got a third-party agency which does source code review of our solution. We got another third-party certain empaneled agency which does VAPT and detailed pen testing on our solution on a very regular basis. But then we of course follow the SDLC controls. We make sure that our solution is very frequently tested. We use the industry standard tools, and then we do our own hardening, including building our own operating system also for our gateway platform now. Right, some of the advanced security feature which we don't think that our competitors provide is a very fine granular geolocation control, right? So I'll give a case study here. So this company is a security company, and they needed to make sure that traders who are sitting at a particular location, they're only working from that home location. And if they go out of that location, let's say more than 500 meters, then their login should be blocked, right? So that kind of control is provided by our solution to them. They were using a MNC solution which did not have that feature, so they replaced, that solution with ours, right? There is built-in MFA, right? So that's another key feature, key benefit we provide to our customers. If you look at competitive solutions, we buy the SSC solution or a VPN solution, and then you have to buy the MFA solution separately. And MFA only comes as a named user solution. So that means even if your concurrency is only 500 out of 5,000 users, you still have to buy multi-factor authentication solution for 5,000 named users, right? That's a significant cost. But if the customer buys our solution, and if we sell 500 concurrent licenses, we include MFA also for all of those users, in concurrency models, right? So that's a huge cost saving. And let me be clear, that benefit is only available if the customer is using MFA with our product. If they use MFA with a third-party application, then we also sell named user license. DLP control, I spoke about that. That's what we do very well in terms of making sure that we can control the endpoint device completely, even if it is a BYOD device, and make sure that user cannot copy any data out of that machine, right? So that includes clipboard control, USB access, in fact, controlling which application user can launch, onto their machine, putting a watermark on it or protecting against keylogger. All those features are, part of the solution. This is something that we have added latest, which is to add web app protection into our solution. That means when the traffic is going through us, and if it is a web application, we can now protect that web application against active threats that are coming from the endpoint machine, right? So scanning the web traffic against the OWASP top 10 security vulnerabilities. If any kind of threats which are, web-based threats that are there, we can protect all of those threats within the web application traffic as well. Now, this functionality is available as an add-on, to the high secure product. In terms of use for government, right? Because we've been serving NIC and so many other government organizations. So we have built over time certain features which are very specific to our solution. So first of all, the solution has been tested for 5 lakh users, right? So that's live. NIC is using that. We have done very specific integration with eOffice. eOffice is a complex application, and almost all central government departments have already shifted to eOffice. Most of the state governments are also shifting to eOffice now, and eOffice had particular features which need to be supported, right? So that support we have available. In fact, our clientless solution, I would say, is the best in the world, right? Because we over time we have made that solution very very comprehensive and feature rich and compatible with eOffice. So there are ready template available for eOffice. So you just click and your eOffice is published. Um, Along with that, we have done testing with Parichaya, Pehchan. These are the IDP solutions within the government infrastructure, and we have done several customizations to support the government LDAP, which had very specific functionality requirements also. Right. So this is how the solution is deployed for eOffice. So it is running within the customer environment, and behind that, let's say at an IC, we are supporting 600 plus application. Right? And just to briefly talk about the NIC case study. So when we were working with them in 2019, their objective was to replace Cisco VPN because it was a client-based software. So installing the client on, let's say, a secretary's machine will be a very time-consuming job, right? And at times when the user need it, the IT team is not able to provision VPN. So NIC was looking for a pure client-based solution, and they did a pilot with us for 1,000 users, and then COVID hit, and suddenly we had to scale up, right? So we scaled to like 1 lakh users within a week's time, and then over time now we have got 5 lakh users running on the platform, right? So NIC named our solution as Web VPN. We don't have a brand name as Web VPN, but they call it Web VPN solution. Now, NIC also questioned us that, okay, how are we protecting our solutions against QRNG or quantum-based threats? And this is something that, this is going in a very slow phase manner that first the defense organizations will adopt quantum-safe encryption and QRNG appliances, right? So QRNG is quantum random number generator, which protects your random number generation against any kind of, quantum computing threat. So defense is the first, industry which is deploying now quantum safe encryption and QRNG appliance. Next will be government, right? So NIC had a vision that they should be ready to deploy that across the government, and so they challenged us that, okay, how do uh, PQC into our solution? And 2 years back, we did it, deployed it. It has been running as a COE within the NIC infrastructure. In terms of licensing, the way we license our product, if you're deploying the software only within the customer environment, we offer both perpetual as well as subscription model. So customer can choose, right? So we are absolutely flexible on the licensing side. And then we all, of course, provide implementation services and enterprise support. Our partners are encouraged to do the implementation and all the support services if they're comfortable. But now we're offering Accops ZTNA as a service as well, and that means that will be hosted by us in our cloud, and then the licensing is more user-based, model, and that's purely subscription because it has to run as a service. And then we offer our platinum edition in that with the web application protection add-on on top of it. So that was all about the ZTNA gateway, which gives private application access. Now let's talk about another scenario. I can tell you that none of the SAC solutions or ZTNA solutions gives 100% security, right? So because the malwares are ever evolving, um, and what ZTNA gateways or SACs can do is first give network connectivities, and second, in a best case scenario, they can protect certain kind of threats, right? Of course, by doing device posture, you can say whether this device has the right security posture or no, but that does not say that, okay, it can't have malware, right? A lot of EDRs and antivirus have been missing advanced malwares, right? And for government, like this is even a bigger problem because they have now more number of endpoints. In fact, most of the government departments don't have, a centralized way to manage these PCs as well. There is no active directory domain in a lot of organizations. So, the IT team don't get the visibility into that, okay, which endpoint is there and how it is provisioned and how to control it. Also, a lot of government PSUs and critical infra organizations have got large campuses, right? So that means these PCs are deployed at a large campus area, and IT team has to physically walk and go there to provide any kind of support. Let's say, I mean, IG Kalpakam, right? So they've got good like 20-acre kind of campus. PCs are spread, and IT team really have a difficult time to go and provide support, to the users. And these are the difficulties which are associated with any kind of physical computing, right? So if you have PCs, they need to be managed, right? And now with the latest issue that Microsoft has declared end of life for Windows 10, organizations are forced to upgrade to Windows 11, and not every PC is compatible, with Windows 11. And that means even if the PC has a life, customers have to, throw away that PC and buy a new PC also, right? What if tomorrow, let's say Microsoft will come up with Windows 13 or Windows 14, and the same challenge can keep on going. Finally, the thick endpoints, the PCs, do not help with green initiatives as well. Right? So today, let's say all the public companies have been asked that they have to report that what they're doing for their green emissions, from their factory operations, from their IT operations. So IT teams also have to answer that what have been their initiatives to reduce, carbon emissions because of the IT operations. And thick endpoints, they contribute to almost 50% of the carbon emissions generated by the IT operations. So any kind of physical PC computing, looks like this, where we buy PCs, we deploy apps. The moment we deploy the apps, the data also gets created, and that's where all the problem starts. Now the IT has to make sure this data is protected, it can be backed up, it can be restored, and these applications are secure. These applications are updated. The OS is updated. Most of the time of IT teams goes into this PC, management, right? So the better way to do that is to remove the applications from the endpoints and deliver those applications as streamed applications from data center. The moment you remove the applications from the endpoints, the data also goes away, right? So that means now the endpoint is actually literally a dumb terminal, and then you host everything within data center and install the applications, have the data within data center, and then you can stream the desktop environment or the applications from the central data center. Now this has obvious benefits. I'll talk about that. It First of all, VDA provides better security, because if your apps and data are running within data center, that means IT has better control of it. They can create a gold master, deploy a large number of desktop environments instantly. If there is a update, they can roll out the updates within hours rather than weeks and months. One of the large customer, told us that, every month they are told to upgrade Microsoft Windows, and their time to roll out any update is 40 days, right? So that means they lag for 40 days, right, when the Microsoft releases patches. So with VDI, because everything is centralized, you can patch your machines, all of the machines, hundreds of machines within minutes or hours rather than days or weeks, right? And then people can work from anywhere, right? So you don't have to think about that. Okay, what is the security infrastructure on the end user side? User can be anywhere, whether a branch office, whether meeting rooms or working from home. They can instantly get access to the applications and data. And of course, meeting those compliances about, now we have DPDP. So DPDP demands that the organization is in full control of the data. It should not be possible that the end user has access to corporate app and they can create a copy of the data onto the machine. Even if they can copy, the organization should be able to delete that data if there is a request, to delete such a kind of data. And that means spreading data on the endpoints will make the compliances more and more complex, for most of the organizations. And we know the penalty, that 250 crore penalty for any kind of data breach. So with VDI, all the data gets centralized, all the applications are centralized, so your compliances are easier, so you can audit who accessed what. And then talking about the green IT goals, replacing a PC with a thin client. Thin client consumes like 10 to 15 watt of power, right? Or enabling BYOD, or making people work from home, not having to travel. What is happening now, with the gas and oil supply in crunch, government is already thinking about that. Okay, let's do work from home. And this work from home is not because of these large global threats, but it keeps on happening for regional reasons as well. Like every year in Delhi, when we have winters, right? So most of the organizations they declare their work from home. So that helps in reducing the travel that people have to make. And green emissions are not just they just don't account the direct emissions, but they account for indirect emissions as well. So if people are not traveling, that's a fuel saving. But at the same time, the IT can support the end users in smallest amount of time. That also gets counted, under the green emissions reduction. So overall, what VDA can offer to government is they can get the complete IT management centralized, not just the servers or data centers, but now they can bring the desktops also under centralized management. There is overall cost optimization that is possible. Now, VDI has been always infamous for being costlier, but if you look at a 5-year, TCO cycle where we account for indirect cost as well, VDI saves cost, right, for the customers. And with all the security requirements, that are there in place, and the risk that the government has, it definitely is a must-to-have solution. Right. So, I mean, I've spoken about most of it, so I'll skip that. But what are additional features that are possible with VDI is that you know, uh, there is a automated productivity monitoring also possible, right? Now, no organization will directly speak about it, but then, how do you know that, okay, for how long people are working? And all of us, whether we have worked for government or whether we have serviced government or we have used the government services, one question always has been is about accountability, right? And so VDI increases that accountability of people, that now you know that, okay, for how long people have been actually, being productive, right? For critical scenarios, you can do session recording, right? So anything that the user did. So for example, a defense customer outsourcing to a vendor, whatever that vendor does, the system will record everything, right? So now you have, record of all the activities, right? You can do application-based micro-segmentation within VDI, right? So that's another level of security. And if you do VDI, then you don't need any other VPN or SSC solution, also, right? So that need also can be completely removed. And of course, you get by design data leakage prevention, that users cannot take data out of your environment, right? To give you a sense of the TCO, because like I said, VDI has been infamous for the cost, right? That VDI is always costlier, and I won't disagree to that, right? But I think the scenario has changed now very significantly. So we did this calculation for around 2,000 PCs, where we have accounted for that customers will deploy thin clients with VDI versus physical PCs. We can now, with our solution, by the way, with all our optimizations into the stack with our own software, we can get 13% saving over a 5-year period. Now, this was a calculation we did like 6 months back. What has happened now, if you see the compute and storage, the cost has increased by 2.5x. So that means the cost of desktop as well as hardware has increased, significantly. And now with the supply chain issues that are just going to increase, it will be more difficult to buy more and more hardware as well. That's where I think the cloud-based media also will help customers very significantly when they don't have to buy large number of PCs, or that PC refresh can be completely avoided. So VDI is all about running Windows inside the data center and having the users connect to that Windows and then run your applications on that Windows, so that the end user device does not have the application, and that means no data on it, right? So today with our solution, so we got, Accops has got a full VDI stack there where we can support any application. The operating system can be Windows or Linux. We have got multiple customers within India itself using Linux-based VDI. From a hypervisor perspective, we can support any hypervisor today, right? Right from Nutanix to VMware, to Proxmox, Hyper-V, Azure Stack HCI, OpenShift, and now we have recently added HP HVM support as well, which is not yet declared, but we are about to declare the support for HP HVM as well, right? So the solution is very comprehensive, and if there are 3D apps, we can deliver 3D applications as well. Now, one of the things I may not have mentioned here is that so in VDI, what is critical part is the display protocol. So Citrix, let's say, had their own display protocol, SGX. VMware or Omisa, over time, they built their own display protocol. They were also, otherwise, they're using PSU IP or Microsoft RDB. Over time, they developed Blast protocol. I can now tell you that we have built our own protocol. It will be announced soon. we are in the final, integration phases, where now, along with remote FX, of course, we'll continue to support remote FX. We'll continue to support TerraDC protocol for 3D application. We have also built our own display protocol, which will be announced soon. So various use cases, for VDI. The one and the most common is to protect the IP of the company, right? So whether it is oil and gas company, whether it is a government customer holding, government records or consumer records, any kind of IP, if a customer has and they want to protect it, VDI is the best solution there, right? Second use case that we see is the vendor access, where privileged users or IT users or security admins, they need access to data center environment and they need to manage the servers. So rather than giving access from their laptop, because when they are using their laptop, they're also a normal user, right? They access email, they access internet, they access various tools. So the work that a privileged user is doing on the laptop is like a user. But when they have to access critical infrastructure, they have to, I mean, the ideal way is to jump onto VDI, and on that, then they use the various tools, right? So whether they use a PAM solution or they use directly the tools, that they can do, right? But VDI gives them a secure workspace environment. Third use case is BYOD, right? So whenever any organization wants to adopt BYOD, which should be the way to go, because imagine if a government customer is outsourcing to TCS, TCS is already giving a laptop to their employee. But today, the government may say that I can't allow TCS person to use their laptop. I will give my own laptop to the TCS employee, right? So that's a wastage of resource. It costs the government a lot of money. It doesn't help the end user as well. Right? They have to carry two devices now, right? So the best way to do that is to allow BYOD, give access over VDI, so that the end user is happy, and the government also does not have to spend much money on. There are of course, critical and legacy applications which are no more secure to be exposed over the network, right? Even through the SSC solutions, you take any solution. If the application has a vulnerability, it has a vulnerability. So if through any SSA solution or any, even ZTNA solutions, the application traffic that is there, if it has vulnerability, a smart malware can always, hijack that, right? And I'm saying so even though we provide ZTNA solution, I can tell you it is not perfect protection. So hiding any application which has got vulnerabilities or it is a legacy application, the best way to deliver that app is through VDI, because one, now it doesn't get flagged under compliances, or your audits, because it is not visible over the network, right? And then you get inherent security, automatically, right? If you have developers, right? So developer use case is a great use case, and then of course getting instant, initiation of projects, right? So if there is an outsourcing project, it is for 3 months. Why to buy new laptops, new PCs, right? Just give access over, VDI, right? So that's all about the benefit of VDI. I spoke about this, that ours is a completely feature-rich solution. We beat our competition hands down in terms of the features that we have. So you will not find that, okay, our competition has something more that we don't have. Right? VDI has a very interesting use case as well, which is remote browser isolation, right? Where a government PSU or critical infra customer must deploy so that they can get security by design from internet-based threats. So today, what happens is that when we deploy a PC, we have got access to internet as well, whether it is for emails, whether it is access for general websites. Now, those websites are the cause that, okay, somebody can fish those websites or fool the user in going to a URL which is allowed, and then that brings a malware to the user machine. Even if the threat is not by the user browsing, imagine a malware comes through other mediums, right? So whether through a USB, whether through an email attachment, generally, a malware will come through, embedded within a document. The user will download that email and that attachment will open it, and now Adobe is infected or the browser is infected, and now that small malware will become, a big malware by, contacting its own control and command center and downloading, more, comprehensive malware onto that machine, right? So having internet in any way on a government PC is basically we are opening doors to any kind of malware threats, right? So that's where defense, let's say, go for it goes for hard partitioning between their internal network and any civil network, right? The internal network, right? A lot of nuclear organizations have already done it, that they have physical air gap between their IT network and their internet network. Of course, OT network has always been separate, right? So that people had figured out long back that OT has to be completely separate. Now, organizations are separating their IT network and the internet network as well, right? Now, this has to go into government offices as well, which is not yet there, but I mean, we have heard discussions that people are serious about it, that how do we isolate internet completely from our offices? So you consume internet through VDI or through a VDI based stack, and but so that means any malware threat that will come on a remote machine, on a remote browser, and not to the end user machine, right? So that solution is already provided by us, and the differentiation in our solution compared to a RBI which is built into SSCs is that our solution can run on-prem, and we provide full compatibility for any application, including your meeting application, your conferencing application, right? So there is absolutely no difference between doing internet browsing on our solution versus doing that on the local PC. Apart from that we are running on a remote machine. Along with that, there is also a requirement of secure file transfer between, let's say, your office PC and the internet environment. And for that, we have created a secure file transfer solution called as AirBridge, right, which has got 8 antivirus and a CDR, which makes sure that any file transfer between the two environments is going through multiple antivirus scanning and a CDR processing. So the file is absolutely clean. And then we give a complete dashboard. It's a policy-based file transfer, solution. What we've also done is we created our own browser, right? What we realized is that you provide ZTNA, user is using a normal browser and accessing applications. Now, what if the browser itself is compromised, right? So another way to do that is through VDI, but VDI requires its own infrastructure to run. So what if there is a browser which works for enterprise, not for the normal browsing that a user needs, but it's an enterprise browser, and that means user can only access their private application within that browser, right? So we are kind of isolating the user from infecting private applications from any public app by separating these two browsers itself, right? So this enterprise browser is built again on Chromium. It has got granular control in terms of what URL the user can browse. Can they do copy paste? Can they open up developer tools and modify the source code of that live website? Copy paste restrictions, print screen control. All of those controls are built in. There are actually 600 plus controls that we can have in that browser, right? So that's part of our secure enterprise browser offering that is now integrated with our ZTNA gateway. We provide a comprehensive IEM solution, right? So I mentioned that our IEM solution will work very well. It's already integrated with our own ZTNA and VDA product, but we can also integrate with third-party applications, right? So be it a VPN, a SSC solution, network devices, third-party VDA solutions, or even custom in-house applications, including legacy applications as well. Applications which do not support SAML or OpenID Connect, we can integrate multi-factor authentication, and now we can also do single sign-on to legacy applications as well, right? So we integrated a password vault, into our solution, so we can do SSO to any application as well as multi-factor authentication to any application. So Axis Bank, let's say, has now grown to 90,000. This number is outdated. HDFC Bank has got around 22,000 users on our platform. For Axis, we do complete fingerprint authentication as well as SMS, OTP, mobile application, push notification, passwordless. We do everything. For while all these solutions were software based, when we are virtualizing everything, we also need some endpoint on the end user side, right? So end user needs a mini PC at least to connect their monitor, keyboard, and mouse, right? So we provide our own thin client devices. We do integrate with third-party thin client solutions as well. So we work very well with Dell, HP. Now we have done integrations with N Computing as well, where customers can buy their those devices, and our software will be supported on those devices. But we provide our own thin client devices also. With that, we ensure that we guarantee that the customer will get continuous support for the thin client. The performance of the VDI and all other solution stack is absolutely fantastic. In fact, all of our solutions, right from IAM to single sign-on to Z, everything is already pre-integrated into our operating system that runs on these things and devices. Right? And we provide our OS also to customers to repurpose old PCs. So if let's say imagine the scenario of Windows 11 migration. So if the customer's hardware has already got a life and they don't want to throw away that PC, they can just convert that into a Accops thin client by installing our operating system, on that, or they can just run it through a USB also. We also provide a remote desktop support solution. Now, this is something that we built as an alternative to any desk user anywhere. This solution is very specifically built for Indian government, critical infra, and defense customers, right? Because we were given this requirement by NIC that CERT has blocked any desk teams or any admin in all the government and PSUs and defense department, and they need a tool to provide remote support, right? So we built this remote support tool, which has got file transfer, chat, one-to-one chat, one-to-many chat. It has got audio and video support also built in, um, right? And you can do desktop sharing. We can record that what happened during that session. Multiple people can join in, right? So all that you would expect in a typical desktop support tool is already built in. So NIC has already deployed. They've got 1,000 admins. The solution is already deployed. NIC now offers our solution to their other government departments as a service. It's deployed in CRPF, and soon we'll be deploying in a defense customer as well. So the tool is called as Hurdle, right? And it has all those features I just spoke about. We've got a UEM solution as well to manage the endpoint devices, right? So while we have endpoints, we need to manage those devices as well. So we got a thin client management solution, so you can centrally manage all aspect of the thin client, right? From OS updates to application updates to configuring the thin client to like which application, which icon should be visible to the user or launch media in full screen and stuff like that. And we can also manage, we got a MDM functionality to manage the mobile phones in iOS, Android, as well as Windows, Mac, and Linux, right? So that's a comprehensive solution that is also available, right? So just to summarize, this is my last slide, that why somebody should look at Accops as a solution, right? Is one is against, let's say, the global players which are present in the same solution domain. We are a player which has got a unified solution, right? So VDI, ZTNA, MFA, SSO, thin client, and I spoke about that in near future. You will see that we'll offer a SSC solution also, and everything also available as service, right? So we are that single vendor which provides all of those functionalities. Today, no other company in the world provides all of this stack as a single company, right? And we are continuously innovating our solution, right? So that's it. We're just building a new protocol, for media. We're building new services. So you will see that innovation keeps coming from us, right? Even though now we are part of Reliance, that actually enables us to do more innovation, right? So we continue to build, more services and more offerings. And customers don't have to juggle between multiple solutions, right? So we become one-stop shop for all of their requirements, and that will reduce their IT infrastructure, that reduces their cost, because when you're dealing with multiple vendors, you have to give profit margins to multiple vendors as well, right? So with us, they get that cost benefit, already by combining multiple solutions. We will always be flexible on licensing, right? So perpetual subscription, on-prem, SaaS, wherever they want to deploy, however they want to deploy, the customer has the choice, and we assure our customers that they will never be forced in a particular licensing model, right? Our support contracts are absolutely transparent, right? So we offer multiple support levels. Even though on paper those levels are there, we of course never say no to a customer. But of course, we want to make sure that we are able to justify our efforts. But customers in India get support from India, right? I don't think that most of the MNCs honor that, and we provide 24 by support there. Plus, we are eliminating the risk of the resellers being cut off, right, from supporting the global players, right? So I mean, what has happened with let's say VMware and Citrix as well, that a lot of partners were not allowed to provide support to their customers, right? So we have a significantly growing partner network in India, in Japan, Middle East, and that means customers can get service, and US partners, you get continuous support from OEM, right? And like I mentioned about the licensing part of it, the licensing is flexible, and then we provide value for money as well, for our cost that we are charging the customer. Right? So that's it from my side. I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, Vijender. And I'll request if anybody has any query, you can put in the chat box. So, is anybody typing any question?
Captain Ashish has raised it. Maybe if you can unmute him.
Ashish, you can
Mike?
type. Yeah, Ashish can type the question in the live chat. Is there only one cloud data center for high secure GW, or we have multiple GW location for ZTNA?
Yeah, so we will be offering this from multiple data centers, right? So we have one in Jamnagar and one in Nagpur, right? So these two data centers, from there we are offering GTN as a service, and this will be growing in future. Yeah, Captain Ashish, we can share with you separately. There are multiple DRDO labs which are using our solution. Ajit, can you name that?
DRDO headquarter, the PGAD Hyderabad, as well as DIPR. So these are the DRDO labs which are already using our solution, and some DRDO labs are now evaluating.
Right, so Captain Ashish, they're using our VDA solution with thin clients. And their use case is examination, use case that the examinations, certain
Yeah.
examinations that they conduct, that is, they are running
Yeah.
on.
So DIPR is using for the psychometric test. At a time, 120 students are participating in the exam, psychometric test. And this setup is in Bangalore.
So DCYA is also using, they use it for internet isolation. Indian Air Force is using for examination as well as access to the data centers, right? So the ZTNA based access to data centers that is used by it.
So Mukul have a question, GPU support. So we have a GPU support. ISRO Bangalore and Polycab Mumbai, they are using GPU solution with Accops VDI.
Yeah, so what we do is you put the GPU on the server side, and using the hypervisor capability, it can be sliced into smaller virtual GPUs, and then we can stream the GPU application through that. Either the application will work with our modified remote FX protocol, or in certain cases we have to use the TerraDC protocol. Right? So both options are available, and now with our new protocol that is coming up, that will provide even a better experience for 3D apps.
Yes, I think Siddharth PM also has a question. In RBI, does CDR supports all file format?
Yeah, so there are close to 250 different file formats which are supported. I won't say that all files are supported, but 250 is quite comprehensive, right? So zip files, PDF, doc, Excel, everything is supported.
So team, I'm dropping my contact details on the live chat. You can reach out to me if you have any requirement or any query. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.